Hi everyone, welcome to Financial Index, brought to you by Inhlanyelo Finance, planting the seed of smart finance. Today we're going to be talking about financial documents. These will be your invoices, statements, quotations, and correspondence. So as SMEs, regardless of whether you provide goods or services, it's really important to keep track of the goods or services provided for each of your customers. But not everyone has an accounting background, and it's normal to struggle with your financial documents. But you'll also find, as someone that did accounting in high school, they never really taught us how to draft up an invoice. So the confusion is warranted. So let's get to it. Invoices. These are notices that are sent to customers detailing the cost of goods and or services provided for them, stating what is due, right? So this is our mini checklist for what your invoice should have. So first and foremost, we need a company name and or logo, right? So at the top there, we'd like your company name, where there's that blue. Your company name, you can put your logo, and you can also put your slogan if you have one. Sometimes companies have a company name, and then they also have a different trading name. So if you have a trading name as well, please state it if it differs from your company name. Your invoice needs to have a date. It definitely needs to have a date. We need to know when you issued this invoice or when these services were provided, because in order for us to pay you, we need to know when the service was done. So sometimes you'll find that a company has a 0 to 30-day policy of when they're going to pay suppliers. So if suppliers or customers, right? So if your invoice has no date, they don't know when they received the service from you. So they don't know when the payment is due or when it starts becoming overdue, right? I cannot stress this enough. An invoice number, and it has to be sequenced, because now invoice numbers need to be in sequence because there's only one of each number. And let's take, for example, S21. There's only one S21, so you won't have three different customers coming back with the same invoice. So an invoice needs to be unique and it needs to be sequenced. It needs to follow another one and another one and another one, so that we know if ever there's an invoice missing, if ever an invoice has been duplicated, or if ever an invoice has been captured incorrectly. And also for filing purposes, just to file things in order, you need an invoice number. You also need the name and address of the client. We need to know who this invoice is for, right? Who we delivering it to, who are we sending it to, the likes. You need company contact details. So if ever I receive your invoice and I'm actually not your customer or your supplier, I need to be able to contact you to let you know. Or also if I just need further information, there's something missing, or I just want to ask for clarity about something, you need to have your company contact details available for the customer or supplier to use. Company banking details. How are we going to pay you? It's very seldom that companies work with cash currently. Everybody's on EFT, tapping and swiping, but then if you don't have a card machine, it's best just to work via online banking. And it's convenient for most companies as well, because the expenditure department that issues the payments will put everything on their banking, and then they pay you your money that way, and then they just send you proof of payment. So your banking details need to be there for if ever and whenever your customer has time and wants to pay you within the agreed, time period. If you told them that they need to pay within 30 days, within the 0 to 30 days, they need to be able to pay you without showing up at your offices, for convenience purposes as well. So every company that is registered, private company, public company, state-owned, they all have a tax number. You need to put your tax number there. You need to put your tax number there. And also, if you're registered for VAT, not everybody and not every private company needs to register for VAT. But if you are, please do include that information so that they know as to why you are charging VAT. You can't just charge VAT, but you're not a VAT vendor. And also for professionalism, just include your company registration number. Sometimes companies want to do background checks. So your customer may want to check if you're already registered, if it's a legitimate business, how long you've been in operation, before they continue business with you, So on to the next one, statements, right? So these are notices that are sent to the customer detailing the payments received, invoices issued for a certain period, ending with the total amount outstanding after taking all the above into account. So it needs to show your payments that are received for that month, because your supplier will pay you. I mean, if you've given them the invoice, there's no reason for them not to pay you. Then the invoices that you've issued, right? So for every payment, there should be an invoice, or it'll just be a whole list of invoices because they haven't paid you yet. Also, credit notes issued. Credit notes, let's say that you supply me with toilet paper and you say you gave me 10 rolls of toilet paper, but then I only want to take 8 because 2 are damaged. I'm going to return the 2 that are damaged, and you need to issue me with a credit note. It's kind of like an IOU, right? So instead of, we'll have an agreement, it's either you bring me those 2 or else you are going to refund me or reduce the amount that is on the invoice. Then it also has to have there at the end the total amount outstanding to date. On the date that the statement is created, how much is owed by the customer to you? And a statement does not require a statement number. It's not like an invoice. It does not need sequential filing or anything like that. But also don't forget that statements need to have all the information that's on the checklist for invoices as well. That needs to go for statements as well. The only difference would be the statement number and the fact that this one also includes payments received. Okay. So here I've included a little bit of a statement. I'm going to include the link in the description so that you guys can view it fuller or in your private time to kind of see how a statement should look, more or less. And this was my favorite one on Google, so I hope it helps you. So the next one is quotations. This is a price list of the goods or services you provide. So if I come to you as a person that sells toilet paper, and maybe you also sell tissues, and I say, listen, please tell me how much it would cost for you to supply me with 10 rolls of toilet paper. You're going to put there 10 rolls of toilet paper for so much money, how much it is per unit, and the likes. That's what a quotation is for. It's similar to an invoice, but an invoice is for services and goods that have already been provided. Quotations are for, if I want to, this is how much I should estimate it will cost. It does not need to have a quotation number nor a billing address, because this is not really a transaction. This is just you asking about prices. You know, when you go up to that person, then you're like, hey, how much is this? It's 50 Rand. That's what a quotation is. It's just more formal and it has more information. You know, it should have your contact details, just like the invoice. All the information needs to be there. And it should also have a validity period. That's the most important part. Quotations need to have a validity period, because I can come to you 3 years later and be like, hey, you said 1 roll of toilet paper is 2 Rand. And then I'll be like, yeah, but it's 2021 now and 1 toilet roll is 5 Rand, you know? So you don't want to get into an argument with a potential customer based on prices. So your quotations need to have a validity period and say that from this date of issuing until next month or until the end of 2021, these prices will be valid. Because a lot of things can happen. You can increase your prices. Inflation could happen. Right now, there's that blockage with that cargo ship that's stuck and they can't move it and it's blocking things and all the other shipments that need to take place globally. And you are running out of stock. So you increase your prices to try and stay afloat because it's now a scarce commodity, this toilet paper. So your prices won't be valid next week. You can't sell what you were selling this week for the same price next week due to unforeseen circumstances. And then lastly, your correspondence, right? So when sending letters or formal notices to the customer, it's advisable to include a company letterhead to prove that this correspondence is from the company. People are tired of being scammed. You need to create a header and or a footer with your company details on Word or on Microsoft Word, because it helps with the customer or the supplier to be like, no, this correspondence really is from said company. Because even I could go and be like, hi guys, I work for so and so and I wanted to find this out. Even if I may work for you, you'll find that I don't have the authority to ask about such information, or I am not the designated party that has the legal right to conduct these matters with you. And also you need to realize that information is confidential. I can't say that customer A, this is what I do for them, this is how much I've billed them. There's certain things that are confidential. Your credit agreement and the likes, that's confidential between you and your client. You cannot just tell that to anybody. So correspondence assists us as the people that use it to be like, no, this is definitely from them, because it will state your position in the company. You'll sign the director of so and so a company. And then we can use this as proof if ever anything happens, because things can go south really quickly. So, in the words of Walt Disney, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. So if you've been thinking about starting that business, go ahead. It's highly recommended. You'll be working on billable hours in your own home, working overtime, working hard. But don't worry, the benefits will so outweigh it. So this is the end of our video. Please do remember that Inhlanyelo is not a registered financial services provider. So if you need hectic financial advice, please do contact your broker or a registered FSP. Lastly, like, share, and subscribe. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you'd like to hear more of from me or something like that, however the English wants it. And also leave your comments about this video. Thank you so much. See you next time.